Hello, Pastor Deborah here again, and we're coming to you, the Agape Love Ministries, here on the YouTube channel of the Hidden Kingdoms, with another wonderful episode from the School of Light, in its story called It's Time. It's about me, Pastor Deborah, and my own personal spiritual death as Jan, and resurrection spiritually as Deborah. It's a true story, and it demonstrates to you how spiritual transformation occurs and what it's all about, and the new things that you have to learn in your new identity. And here in episode number 31, we are continuing to talk about that I had become a tree of life, a life-giving spirit myself, and I had learned some powerful things about myself, my identity, and my image. I had learned that I was to become a god myself, and I was to overcome spiritual things and overcome and work with my own soul, so it was no longer in control, or my physical body. And in episode number 30, we had just learned that I was to have many, many things in this new spiritual life that I would have to learn. I had to learn that, number one, I was to eat spiritually of the tree of life, which was in the middle of the Garden of Eden still. I didn't even know what spiritual eating was until I had some spiritual visions about it. One was this one. It is powerful, so listen, and then we'll get into the teaching. One Sunday morning I had gone to a church, and I listened to the pastor. He was talking about all the wonderful community programs they did, organizations they helped, and then he went into what they did internationally. And they had orphanages and feeding places and schools. I thought he did a marvelous, marvelous job explaining what the mission of this particular church was. I had no complaints. They sounded excellent. A God-loving church and a people-loving church. He, at the end of his talking about what his church was, he asked everyone if they wanted to be a part of this ministry, this outreach ministry to humanity, and if so, to please come and join the church, and you could be a part of it. That sounded wonderful. Well, I didn't join, but I went to my car, and I felt strange, and I heard his voice, but there was nobody in the car but me. And the voice said, "You did not get fed today." I go, "What?" I had no idea what it meant, but I started listening to the radio, and there was another pastor, and he was teaching on angels. And as I was listening, something happened. I could see my spiritual hands reaching over into the middle of the car. I was in the driver's seat, and reaching and picking up a piece of chicken or lamb and bringing it to my mouth, and I was eating. So as I was listening with my physical ear and my soul, my spirit was eating. Didn't understand what that meant. Then, after a little while of that, all of a sudden I heard the same voice say, "Now I can have holy common union with you." And my spiritual hand picked up a goblet, golden goblet of real wine, and I drank. What had just happened? I learned a powerful truth, that when your soul hears truth from the kingdom of heaven and its king, it is as if you are eating or drinking, depending on the message. When I was listening about the angels, I was getting adult food, meat, chicken or lamb. And then at the end of that, to wash it down, I got wine, some kind of holy wine, and it was real wine. I had to have this experience to understand the power of words and how spiritually they are transferred into food. Could be poisonous food, could be nothing. So when I'd gone to the church with an empty plate to get fed, as it's called, to be nourished, to get some truth, I walked away with an empty plate. Didn't even know it spiritually, but my great Father and my teacher, the Holy Spirit, knew. So that was how I learned the power of a new image and likeness and the power of words and learning. So here, when Deborah became alive and Jan had died by my own will, as the story has told us, I had to learn how to spiritually listen to, hear new words. Even if you said one word, like church or pastor, or we'll say imam or teacher, there had to be another deeper meaning to it for my spirit. Then, number 2, I had to learn as this new identity that I would be given a crown of life, whatever that was, and I was to hang on to it and wear it in battle, in prayer, and wear it unto death, which showed that I was always a royal member of the King's family, of the kingdom of heaven. His words, this king, were embedded in this crown, and I was to wear it no matter what. It must have been a powerful, I never saw it, but I had many opportunities to wear crowns. Of course, they were not real crowns, but I would take these crowns into the jails and let the women wear them in Bible study. You should see their facial expressions when they believed they were queens or princesses. It's excellent. Sometimes we need props like that, like a crown. Then I learned that this crown of life was one of light glowing from me. And everybody in the spiritual kingdom could see the glorious radiant rays coming from it. Then I learned I was to be considered a child of the light. I never heard that. Did that mean I used to be a child of the darkness? Yes. That there was no light in my spirit? Yes. Jan had no light. Jan was a horrible, evil creature that she created, but it was my middle name. Well, what did a child of the light mean? It meant my spirit now was no longer in spiritual darkness. I was back in school. I was spiritually learning. And you know what that looks like? It's a great movie to watch, Dr. Marvel. And it shows him when he went to Tibet as a doctor. No, I'm sorry. The movie is Dr. Strangelove, I think. Excellent, from Marvel. And he was studying. His physical body was sleeping, but his spirit was up and studying. That's what I had to learn about myself. And I did learn that in another powerful personal experience years before this. I had come home from church. It was very late at night. We had what they call a revival. And I sat down and turned on the TV and got a plate of chicken or something to eat. And all of a sudden in front of me was me. And it said to me, I don't eat that earthly food, and I don't watch television. I couldn't believe it. I was being reintroduced to, or introduced to for the first time, another realm, the realm of the spirit. I could see it, hear it. I saw myself, and myself talked to my soul. which is another pattern that you have to learn about. And my spirit said, I don't eat your earthly food. I eat other kinds of food. And I don't watch television. I had to learn some powerful things. So I was no longer a child of the darkness, a child of ignorance. Then I had to learn and act as this child of the light. I didn't know what that meant, but I would learn. Then I found out, as a life-giving spirit, after I eat this fruit and drink this wine and discover these things, I was to produce within myself, for others to partake of, the fruit of the Spirit. Isn't that an interesting thing? I was to produce all goodness in my spiritual life and thoughts and desires. All spiritual righteousness. Well, I had to know what was unrighteous also. I had to produce all truth. Well, whose truth was I to produce? I had to study. Then I had to prove what is acceptable unto the Lord, the God of creation, the God of eternity, and the God, the King of heaven. Boy, did I have a lot to study. I spent years in books and movies, watching, writing, studying, pondering. Sometimes I would take one word, like what does the word God mean? What does the word Lord mean? And I would look it up in the Webster's dictionary or the Strong's Concordance. I was a studier. I had found a master teacher, the Holy Spirit, and God Himself to teach me. And sometimes I had no clue what I was to learn or what it meant, so I'd have to ask God. I got used to asking God, what does this mean? Are you behind it? What is really going on? Because early on in this journey, I had discovered something. I was ignorant. And I had a lot of darkness and ignorance in me and confusion. And I prayed a prayer that I didn't want any of that in me. And I wanted to be clean and bright. And I wanted no shadows of darkness or confusion or vanity or fables or traditions in me. But I didn't know what they were. So if you pray that prayer that you want to be clean in all areas of your life and know the truth, God will help you. He has many ways of helping us. So as a child of light, I was learning that I had to learn a lot. And then I had to learn that I would be given freely to eat what they call the hidden manna, the bread of life. And I would be given a white stone. I don't know what that one's about yet. And in this stone was my new identity, my new nature, my spiritual identity was written in it, which I would learn no man knows what it says, except he who receives it. I had a lot to receive, to understand, to learn, to study, and I still do. But this was just the beginning of this new spiritual identity, this new spiritual me, Deborah. This was a wild ride, if you've ever know what I mean. But you too will have to take this sooner or later, either during your earthly life or after. Sometimes people get it after, when they step out of the darkness of their soul and their physical body, and they see the light, and they step into the light, and they discover things they never heard of. So there's a lot to learn. We are very ignorant in so many things, but yet we can also be smart. Our soul can be very intelligent, smart, but very dark in truth and light. All right, that ends this episode of number 31, and we'll pick up in the next one in more things that I had to learn, and so will you. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.